President Trump, you have the best crowd in the world. What do you guys have to say to President Trump?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
You did it.
You did it.
Wow.
Thank you.
This is amazing.
Mr. President, we believe in you. We know you've done so much for us over the past, since you became a president, and even before that. And we trust you fulfill the mission until every hostage, every 48 of the hostages are home. Thank you so much. Blessed be the peacemakers.
God bless you, Mr. President. God bless America.
Thank you very much. You just take care of yourselves. The hostages will come back. They're all coming back on Monday.
What we saw announced tonight was specific to the release of hostages and Palestinian prisoners after long and arduous negotiations. I would personally venture out to say that the war is far from over and that we don't know what happens after this phase is over. It is expected that Hamas will produce all living hostages within the time frame. However, the issue is with the deceased hostages who are buried in different locations throughout Gaza. Hamas is not only counting on guarantees from President Trump to pressure Israel and Netanyahu not to restart the war, but they're also imagining and speculating, based on what I've gathered, that with the hostages being out, it's going to be very difficult for Israel to restart the war, that it won't have any legitimacy to re-engage in military operations in the Strip, and that without this cover, without this sense of legitimacy, it would be untenable for Netanyahu and for the Israeli government to re-begin the war, and that this would put it at odds with the international community, but also with President Trump as well. And so that is something that Hamas is counting on to prevent the restarting of the war after giving up all of its chief negotiating leverage.
Israel and Hamas agreed on Wednesday to the first phase of U.S. President Donald Trump's plan for Gaza, sparking celebrations by Palestinians in the coastal enclave in the early hours of Thursday morning. The agreement, reached through indirect talks in Egypt, comes just a day after the second anniversary of Hamas militants' cross-border attack that triggered Israel's devastating assault on Gaza. Trump said on Truth Social that the sign-off by Hamas and Israel on the first phase of the plan meant that, quote, all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line. Hamas confirmed it had reached an agreement to end the war, saying the deal includes an Israeli withdrawal from the enclave and a hostage prisoner exchange. Israeli officials believe that of the 48 hostages held by Hamas, 20 are still alive. A Hamas source said the living hostages would be handed over within 72 hours of the Israeli government approving the deal. An Israeli government spokesperson said the hostage release was expected to begin on Saturday. The accord, if fully implemented, would bring the two sides closer than any previous effort to halt a war that had evolved into a regional conflict, deepened Israel's international isolation, and reshaped the Middle East. However, as has been the case with previous peace efforts, crucial details are yet to be spelled out, including the timing, a post-war administration for the Gaza Strip, and the fate of the Palestinian militant group Hamas. Two sources familiar with the talks confirmed that sticking points included the mechanism for the Israeli withdrawal, with Hamas seeking a clear timeline linked to the release of hostages and guarantees of a complete pullout by Israeli forces. The next phase of Trump's plan calls for an international body led by Trump, and including former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, to play a role in Gaza's post-war administration. Arab countries which back the plan say it must lead to eventual independence for a Palestinian state, which Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says will never happen. Hamas has said it would relinquish Gaza governance only to a Palestinian technocrat government supervised by the Palestinian Authority and backed by Arab and Muslim countries. It rejects any role for Blair or foreign rule of Gaza. Hamas has also so far refused to discuss Israel's demand that Hamas give up its arms. A Palestinian source close to the talks said Hamas would reject that demand as long as Israeli troops occupy Palestinian land. Earlier on Wednesday, Trump said that he may travel to Egypt this weekend, possibly leaving as soon as Saturday.
How will you decide which workers get back pay and which workers do not?
Well, we're going to see. Most of them are going to get back pay, and we're going to try and make sure of that. But some of them are being hurt very badly by the Democrats, and they therefore won't qualify.
You encourage Congress to pass a standalone bill to pay our service members.
Yeah, that probably will happen. We don't have to worry about it yet. That's a long time. You know what 1 week is for me? An eternity. 1 week for me is a long time. We'll take care of it. Our military is always going to be taken care of.
New Directions Community Credit Union is now open in Titusville. They may be new to our community, but they've been serving our region since 1974, providing their members with affordable products and services. Membership is open to anyone who lives, works, worships, volunteers, attends school, regularly conducts business, or who owns a business in Venango, Forest, Warren, or Crawford counties. Visit their new location at 206 South Martin Street in Titusville to learn more about becoming a member. Best of luck to all the students and athletes this fall from New Directions Community Credit Union.
Looking for expert orthopedic care? Dr. Charlie Gates, a trusted name at Titusville Area Hospital, can help you regain mobility and a better quality of life. With years of experience and a passion for personalized care, Dr. Gates specializes in treating a wide range of orthopedic conditions. Whether it's joint pain, sports injuries, or orthopedic surgery, trust Dr. Charlie Gates at Titusville Area Hospital for your orthopedic care. Call 814-827-9770 today to schedule your appointment.
Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning provides residential and light commercial air conditioning services throughout the area. They understand the importance of your cooling system working properly. That is why you can trust in Vanderhoof to do the job right. Whether it's a non-working air conditioner, yearly maintenance, or a new install, you can be assured that we will solve your problem quickly and efficiently. Your home's air conditioning system is far more than just temperature. It's a complete comfort system that combines temperature, humidity, air quality, and above all, safety. Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning in Titusville. Titusville Market Square is home to over 100 unique vendors featuring antiques, collectibles, candles, coins, baked goods, dairy products, food items, comic books, toys, and so much more. You'll discover something new every time you walk through the door. Did we mention the selection of baked goods, breads, Clark's Donuts, and Amish pies? Titusville Market Square has you covered. Stop in to explore today. Titusville Market Square in downtown Titusville.
Our new home.
Somebody pinched me.
Somebody say pinch?
Pinch.
We mean we just bought this.
Yeah, we just bought a new house. Why are there crabs?
Oh, don't call for pinches. Call for protection.
Hit it.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Your State Farm agent is ready to help you choose the right coverage for your new house and your car.
All right, which way to the sea?
We're in Ohio.
So is that close or?
No.
You got a pool?
No.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm Ronnie Long.
And I'm Lisa Mellon.
The name Armstrong reflects more than just a company. It's a promise.
While others focus on the short term, we're building for a future that's limitless.
From the dawn of cable television to the rise of the digital age, we've delivered cutting-edge technology like our advanced fiber network that redefines what's possible.
Guided by our core values, we have proudly served and strengthened communities like yours for generations.
Fat Chad's is Titusville's premier dining destination. Come hungry and enjoy these menu favorites: T-bone steak, homemade meatloaf dinner, or soft shell crab tacos. Dive into fresh pasta entrees like shrimp and scallop pasta or our signature Asiago chicken. And don't miss our famous burgers and fish sandwiches, all served with fresh cut fries. Fridays mean prime rib specials. Enjoy wild game Saturdays. And on Sundays, it's our all-you-can-eat wing buffet. For good food and good times, it's Fat Chad's Brewing in Titusville.
211 is an easy-to-remember telephone number for finding health and human services for everyday needs and in crisis situations. Every day, highly trained 211 call specialists provide referrals to basic human needs resources like food banks and shelters, physical and mental health, employment support, support for youth and child care programs, and support for adults and persons with disabilities. To learn more, dial 211 or visit pa211nw.org.
Technology shares boosted U.S. stocks Wednesday. The Dow finished flat, while the S&P 500 rose 0.6%, and the Nasdaq added more than 1%. The S&P and Nasdaq notched new closing highs. Chip stocks and other artificial intelligence-related mega caps gave the markets a lift, as they have for most of 2025. Adam Coons, Chief Investment Officer with Winthrop Capital Management, says he thinks stocks have become expensive and investors need to be cautious.
The thing that's giving us unease is that, valuations are stretched. So there's one thing. You've got this AI story that kind of seems to be a little bit out of control, a little bit circular, and we really don't know who the winners and losers are going to be because it's very early in this game. It's very similar to the beginning of kind of the internet story. And then you've obviously got a lot of geopolitical issues that you can't ignore either. DC is a little bit unstable. And so you've got a lot of things kind of, use the term ingredients in the soup.
The U.S. government shutdown entered its 8th day. A congressional stalemate appeared to suggest market participants will lack official economic indicators for the immediate future and will have little to go on until third quarter earnings season kicks off next week. Minutes from the Federal Reserve's policy meeting last month showed most participants indicated it likely would be appropriate to keep cutting interest rates over the remainder of the year, though the timing and pace of further moves remained an open question. Stocks on the move included Dell, which jumped 9% to a 52-week high after several brokerages raised their price targets. And Best Buy gained 2% after broker Jefferies raised its price target on the stock.
Well, let's check that weather forecast for northwest Pennsylvania on this Thursday morning. We are looking at plenty of sunshine today, frost advisory until about 9 or so this morning. Abundant sunshine and temperatures nearing 60 degrees. Clear skies tonight with lows in the upper 30s. Friday, sunshine, mid-60s. Saturday, partly cloudy, mid-60s. Sunday, rain, low 60s. Monday, mostly cloudy with temperatures in the mid-60s. That is a look at your weather forecast at 7:15. This is the Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Happy Thursday. A bit foggy out there, isn't it?
Yes, just a little bit.
Or is that in here? Always foggy in here. Happy Thursday, everybody. I keep saying that because I'm not really sure I believe it. It's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm just working this out.
Okay.
So, yeah, happy Thursday. 9th day of October. Glad you're with us here this morning. I don't know what's going on at these amusement parks. What was it, a few weeks back? Somebody had passed away on a ride at Universal Studios. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
And then just the other day, a story that a woman had died after riding the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland.
Oh, my gosh.
So I'm not quite sure what's going on here.
Yeah.
But, and I'm not making fun of it at all. I think the ride at Universal was maybe there was something there with the restraints, I think.
Oh.
That was the issue. This was just the Haunted Mansion.
It's not haunted. It's not scary.
It's not haunted.
It's really not scary.
I thought it was till I rode it, and it's really not haunted.
Yeah. It's not scary.
Not.
It's fun.
It's your favorite ride.
It is. It is. It truly is my favorite ride.
Well, the Disney World version. You've never been. I've never been.
I've
to
never
the
been to
Disneyland version.
But the world version is my favorite.
Yeah. What was the movie or the line about? Yeah, but if Pirates breaks down, they don't come out and attack you. I keep thinking that as I see these headlines.
Oh, Jurassic Park.
Oh.
Well, John, if the ride breaks down, the pirates, it's like here the dinosaurs are going to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. What else is making news here this morning? Another story I grabbed. This is, we were talking about, Joe Tech and I were talking about malls the other day. Like, it would be so cool to take our kids back in time to when we were growing up to experience certain things.
Yeah.
Malls and some certain stores. And, and then I saw a post, I think early this morning or last night, somebody was posting, like, here's, like, Christmas in our day. And it was like, I was like, wow, that's...
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. The Monroeville Mall demolition is going on.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Do you see what's taking its place?
The biggest box store.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I bought that property for $34 million.
Holy crap.
So.
There was a... No, it wasn't. What was it that we went to a few years ago for Comic-Con, whatever. Not Comic-Con, what was it?
Like a convention center.
Yeah. I thought that was like a former mall or something. I don't remember. This is how much I pay attention. Sorry. I thought that was a mall. I guess it's not.
Well, we went to that facility, and they were... it was going to be the last year that the Steel City Con was going to be hosted there, because it was going to turn into a lobby hobby.
Oh.
Instead of a mart wall.
So weird.
No, but then they ended up backing out of that. So the Steel City Con is still held there. But yeah. Yeah. If you could take the kids back and have them visit one store that we had growing up.
That's hard. Because I think, like, it's difficult. Because when you're in Needville, Kmart was huge, and there was a whole restaurant in the front, and Christmas time, it was cool, and then you walk through the mall, and there's Montgomery Ward, and it was awesome. But then, Hills was good.
Mm-hmm.
Children's Palace was fun. I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah, we had 3 toy stores growing up, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Toys R Us, Children's Palace, KB Toys.
Mm-hmm. But then you also had, like, Kmart and Hills had an adequate stock of toys. Like, good toys, not the minimal.
I remember you going through, one place in the mall, a couple places in the mall, and it'd be like a whole section, like stereo section, electronics, and
yeah.
Like a mall back in its prime was
awesome.
Yeah,
there were choices and selections,
and that kids hung out. Like that was the thing. You didn't have a cell phone.
They actually communicated.
Yeah, you weren't playing video games with your friends.
Yeah.
Not seeing them. I mean, you actually went someplace and did something.
You could have been playing in the arcade. Malls had arcades too. That was fun. I don't know.
I was trying to think. What the Hills, Kmart, the James Ways.
Yeah,
right?
Those were cool. Like LB's Big Boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I don't know.
Well,
our poor kids.
They didn't know. They don't know.
They don't know, but man.
And we didn't know, like, when our parents would say that stuff to us, and we just roll our eyes like, okay, I'm sure it was great.
Yeah. No.
But we had no idea.
Yeah.
Because they would tell us, like, oh, yeah, when we were we had this, and we had, or we didn't have this, and we didn't have that.
I know. I think we were spoiled.
Actually, it was. I remember. I love these conversations with my grandmother because it wasn't like the big malls and the box stores for her. It was. Do you remember when this place was open on Central Avenue or Main Street or, your downtowns. Like, oh, yeah, so-and-so ran that business. And, he gave me my first job. And, so it was always fascinating listening to those stories. And those are the ones, I think that really.
Those are the hit home.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's hard to imagine. People talk about a lot of stores that were here before I moved here. And I'm like, I have no idea. And it's just like, the nostalgia and this was great and you missed this. And it would be great to stay here and, buy my shoes here or whatever. Like, that would be great, not to have to travel or, God forbid, I have to order them online because 9 times out of 10 they don't fit right, or when they get here they don't look the way, Those would be great things. We really royally screwed that up as consumers.
Well, we just wanted more, and we wanted selection and variety and big box stores.
Do you see my face?
I did. Let's see. Anything else? I kind of surprised. Some people I know, I noticed yesterday I was going through the old Facebook there, and they're in Paris.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he was giving a tour of his hotel room. I'm like, oh, that looks nice.
We also have a friend in Ireland.
Right now? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I think we're coming towards the end of the fall sports season for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess in my mind, I'm thinking it'll be a nice little break, but there's really no break because it's like, okay, well, we got election coverage and we got this and this is coming up. But I was just trying to think of a time. It's like just to escape. It'd be fun to just go somewhere.
Yeah.
We haven't done that in a while.
No.
So I see all these people going places. I'm like, okay, I'm ready.
You're so jealous.
I just want to go somewhere now. Listen, it's been a blast covering.
Just Kmart.
Yeah, even if it's Kmart. If there's a Kmart somewhere,
find it for us.
We'll go. But no, we have a blast covering sports. It's so much fun, but it's a lot of work, and it's just. I was reading an article today about why everybody's so exhausted. Well, here it was written 3 years ago, and it was coming out of COVID, and it was about how you're kind of everything's ramping up, but you don't have a full tank, so you're kind of starting on low, and everything's coming back, and it's just been catch up. Now, somebody wrote, "Well, this is 3 years ago, so this doesn't really apply," but there were a few things in there that, it's like the starting on empty thing. I think a lot of people are kind of just catching up, and when we talk to the chamber directors, they're planning events, and there's so many events that are going on now. I think it's been hard for people to say, okay, I could try to make everything, or they're just now picking one or two things or one thing, just so they can kind of have, I hate this phrase, but that work-home balance.
Yeah.
So we got birthdays and what we're celebrating. We should get to those here this morning. Today's the 9th day of October, and
all right,
we're going to start with birthdays here. Who's celebrating a birthday?
Maybe not. Oh my gosh, I went backwards.
I saw one yesterday that I think you missed.
If I missed it, just wasn't on my list.
Right.
And sorry.
Oh man, who was it? Oh, somebody big too. Oh well.
I think I know, because it might have been on another list and I just didn't do it.
Okay.
Actress Sharon Osbourne is 73 today. Actor Tony Shalhoub is 72. Actor Scott Bakula, 71.
You think this time of year he changes his name to Scott Dracula?
Director Guillermo del Toro is 61. Actor Brandon Routh is 46. And actress Spencer Grammer is 42. And that is all.
Happy birthday to everybody on your list. Happy birthday to you. Today happens to be your birthday from all of us. And happy birthday to Scott Dracula.
Oh my gosh. No.
Well, just this time of year.
Just no.
Do you think, for Halloween, he would dress up as Dracula and be like, I'm Scott Dracula?
All right. What are we celebrating? Do you want to know? That is just such a dad joke. Curious Events Day. International Beer and Pizza Day. Leif Erikson Day. National C60 Day. National Depression Screening Day. National Digital Day, National Moldy Cheese Day, National Pro-Life Cupcake Day, World Post Day, World Sight Day, Baby Loss Awareness Week, and that's it. That's all I got. It would have been John Lennon's birthday.
Do you think Leif Erikson, do you think his mom looked out the window and saw a leaf? Probably not. No to the Scott Dracula thing.
Just no. No. No, I can't. I'm looking
If
back
I'm a balloon, you just went.
It's my gift. I'm looking through. I want to know whose birthday it
Yesterday?
was. Yeah, because I covered everybody yesterday.
Wasn't it like Gene Simmons' birthday or something like that?
Oh, it wasn't on my thing.
Well, I don't know. I think.
Well, I'm looking through a secondary list, and there really isn't anybody I didn't cover that you would have been like, oh, you didn't.
No,
cover.
it wasn't Gene Simmons' birthday.
Okay.
But there's somebody else big, and because I remember seeing it, going, oh, I don't think Amy mentioned that person today.
Bella Thorne, Bruno Mars, Chevy Chase.
You know what? Just wait till next year. Just mark it down.
Matt Damon and
No.
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, you got all the.
I got all the good ones.
I know there's one though. All right, we're coming up on 7:30 here this morning. We'll recap the latest headlines. Hey, you were at a nice event last night.
Mm-hmm.
What went on? Or you want to talk about it afterwards?
We can talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, that was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into where Amy was last night and
Where in the world?
Where in the world? Anyways, latest headlines are coming up. We'll recap what's going on in the world of business and also your forecast for Northwest Pennsylvania. That'll be coming up as well. So looking forward to that. All right, this is the Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood channel. Always foggy in here, but if you're out
Speak for
driving,
yourself.
do be careful this morning.
Yeah, it's pretty thick out there.
Israel and Hamas agreed on Wednesday to the first phase of U.S. President Donald Trump's plan for Gaza, sparking celebrations by Palestinians in the coastal enclave in the early hours of Thursday morning. The agreement, reached through indirect talks in Egypt, comes just a day after the second anniversary of Hamas militants' cross-border attack that triggered Israel's devastating assault on Gaza. Trump said on Truth Social that the sign-off by Hamas and Israel on the first phase of the plan meant that, quote, all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line. Hamas confirmed it had reached an agreement to end the war, saying the deal includes an Israeli withdrawal from the enclave and a hostage prisoner exchange. Israeli officials believe that of the 48 hostages held by Hamas, 20 are still alive. A Hamas source said the living hostages would be handed over within 72 hours of the Israeli government approving the deal. An Israeli government spokesperson said the hostage release was expected to begin on Saturday. The accord, if fully implemented, would bring the two sides closer than any previous effort to halt a war that had evolved into a regional conflict, deepened Israel's international isolation, and reshaped the Middle East. However, as has been the case with previous peace efforts, crucial details are yet to be spelled out, including the timing, a post-war administration for the Gaza Strip, and the fate of the Palestinian militant group Hamas. Two sources familiar with the talks confirmed that sticking points included the mechanism for the Israeli withdrawal, with Hamas seeking a clear timeline linked to the release of hostages and guarantees of a complete pullout by Israeli forces. The next phase of Trump's plan calls for an international body led by Trump and including former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, play a role in Gaza's post-war administration. Arab countries which back the plan say it must lead to eventual independence for a Palestinian state, which Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says will never happen. Hamas has said it would relinquish Gaza governance only to a Palestinian technocrat government supervised by the Palestinian Authority and backed by Arab and Muslim countries. It rejects any role for Blair or foreign rule of Gaza. Hamas has also so far refused to discuss Israel's demand that Hamas give up its arms. A Palestinian source close to the talks said Hamas would reject that demand as long as Israeli troops occupy Palestinian land. Earlier on Wednesday, Trump said that he may travel to Egypt this weekend, possibly leaving as soon as Saturday.
President Trump, you have the best crowd in the world. What do you guys have to say to President Trump?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
You did it.
Wow.
You did it.
Wow.
Thank you.
This is amazing. Mr. President, we believe in you. We know you've done so much for us over the past, since you became a president, and even before that. And we trust you fulfill the mission until every hostage, every 48 of the hostages are home. Thank you so much. Blessed be the peacemakers.
God bless you, Mr. President. God bless America.
Thank you very much. You just take care of yourselves. The hostages will come back. They're all coming back on Monday.
What we saw announced tonight was specific to the release of hostages and Palestinian prisoners after long and arduous negotiations. I would personally venture out to say that the war is far from over and that we don't know what happens after this phase is over. It is expected that Hamas will produce all living hostages within the time frame. However, the issue is with the deceased hostages who are buried in different locations throughout Gaza. Hamas is not only counting on guarantees from President Trump to pressure Israel and Netanyahu not to restart the war, but they're also imagining and speculating, based on what I've gathered, that with the hostages being out, it's going to be very difficult for Israel to restart the war, that it won't have any legitimacy to re-engage in military operations in the Strip, and that without this cover, without this sense of legitimacy, it would be untenable for Netanyahu and for the Israeli government to re-begin the war, and that this would put it at odds with the international community, but also with President Trump as well. And so that is something that Hamas is counting on to prevent the restarting of the war after giving up all of its chief negotiating leverage.
How will you decide which workers get back pay and which workers do not?
Well, we're going to see most of them are going to get back pay, and we're going to try and make sure of that. But some of them are being hurt very badly by the Democrats, and they therefore won't qualify.
You encourage Congress to pass a standalone bill to pay our service members.
Yeah, that probably will happen. We don't have to worry about it yet. That's a long time. You know what 1 week is for me? An eternity. 1 week for me is a long time. We'll take care of it. Our military is always going to be taken care of.
Vehicle shopping? Make sure you check out Titusville Ford first. Shop our amazing selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. Visit us on Route 8 in Titusville and see why our customer service is a cut above the rest. Titusville Ford, your hometown dealer.
Discover unforgettable savings of over $8,000 off your next Chevy truck at Community Chevrolet's September to Remember sales event.
It's like the saying goes, a golden retriever never forgets.
I'm not sure you have that right, Clark. You might want to acknowledge the elephant in the room. What's truly memorable is Community's savings this month of more than $8,000 off a 2025 Silverado and nearly $5,000 off top SUVs like the Tahoe. So don't forget about the September to Remember sales event this month only at Community Chevrolet.
Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding is located at 305 East Spring Street in Titusville. Marsh Home Center welcomes you in to explore their growing inventory of name brand furniture, appliances, and bedding. Need something not currently in stock? No problem. Order from Marsh's online catalog and have it delivered right to your door. Visit Marsh's to see their entire showroom, ask questions, see what items are on sale, or just stop in and say hi. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding, behind Giant Eagle in Titusville.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Whether you want to go and lead in your craft in the trades, whether you want to go and be that nurse or medical worker and have a real impact on lives, or whether you want to go and help that business improve its bottom line, this is the place, and now is your time to go with confidence, to go with skill, to go succeed. The Education and Training Center at Pitt Titusville.
I needed a place I could feel cared for without the long drive. I chose Meadville OBGYN because both my sisters came here, highly recommended Dr. Kristen. Dr. Kristen makes me feel very comfortable, like I'm family, like we're friends, very personable. My daughter Evie was born in Breach, and it was Dr. Kristen and Dr. Barco, and they were incredible. It was a wonderful experience. I wouldn't ever want to go anywhere else.
Community Connect Federal Credit Union, serving Crawford, Venango, Forest, and Warren counties. Their mission is to provide quality, low-cost, and personal financial products for the growth and security of their members and families. Stop in, call, or visit our website, communityconnectfcu.com, and click Join to get started. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, 1050 East Spring Street in Titusville.
I'm Ben Leach, Republican nominee for Magisterial District Judge, reminding you to get out and vote Tuesday, November 4th. As the only candidate with over 13 years of real courtroom experience and a dedicated career in the justice system, I've consistently demonstrated the ability to remain fair and impartial. As I continue my lifelong dedication to serving our community, I strive to be the kind of leader our citizens deserve. On November 4th, vote with confidence for a candidate who is qualified day one, bringing the experience needed to serve as your next Magisterial District Judge.
Former FBI Director James Comey pleaded not guilty on Wednesday to criminal charges brought by the U.S. Justice Department, marking its first prosecution against one of President Donald Trump's political enemies. Comey's lawyer said he would file a barrage of legal challenges to the indictment, which accuses the ex-FBI chief of making false statements and obstructing a congressional investigation. The charges were brought by Trump's former personal attorney, Lindsay Halligan.
Lindsay Halligan, who's very smart, good lawyer, very good lawyer.
She was installed last month as the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia after Trump forced out her predecessor over his reticence to prosecute Comey, as well as New York Attorney General Letitia James.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Comey is accused of knowingly making a false statement when he told a Republican senator in a 2020 hearing that he stood behind prior testimony that he did not authorize anyone to serve as an anonymous source in news reports about FBI investigations. The indictment accuses Comey of authorizing an FBI employee to disclose information about a federal investigation. The indictment does not identify the investigation, though it appears to relate to Hillary Clinton. It does not detail the evidence against Comey. Trump has threatened to imprison his political rival since the start of his 2016 presidential campaign. The Justice Department is also investigating other Trump critics, including Democratic California Senator Adam Schiff and John Bolton, who served as a national security official in Trump's first term as president. Also during his first term as president, Trump fired Comey, who at the time was presiding over the FBI's investigation into contacts between Trump's 2016 presidential campaign and Russia. More than 1,000 Justice Department alumni from Republican and Democratic administrations have signed a letter decrying the case against Comey as, quote, an unprecedented assault on the rule of law. A judge scheduled the trial to begin on January 5th.
While the Lockman fire burned, the defendant walked up the same trail from earlier that night to watch the fire and firefighters, using his iPhone to take short videos of the scene. Although firefighters suppressed the blaze, the fire continued to smolder and burn underground within the root structure of the dense vegetation. So that fire started on January 1st, and it smoldered underground for about a week until on January 7th, heavy winds caused this underground fire to surface and spread above ground, causing what became known as the Palisades Fire, one of the most destructive wildfires in Los Angeles city history. He was the only person in this location at the time this fire ignited. We have no other indication that any other person was there. There were no fireworks at the time. We have several cameras in the vicinity that are there designed to detect fires, and this fire was detected almost right away by those sensors. He is charged with starting a fire on January 1st, which is the fire that burned down the Palisades. It did take a week to reignite, but he is charged with starting the Palisades fire. He started it on January 1st.
Technology shares boosted U.S. stocks Wednesday. The Dow finished flat, while the S&P 500 rose 0.6%, and the Nasdaq added more than 1%. The S&P and Nasdaq notched new closing highs. Chip stocks and other artificial intelligence-related mega caps gave the markets a lift, as they have for most of 2025. Adam Coons, Chief Investment Officer with Winthrop Capital Management, says he thinks stocks have become expensive and investors need to be cautious.
The thing that's giving us unease is that, valuations are stretched. So there's one thing. You've got this AI story that kind of seems to be a little bit out of control, a little bit circular, and we really don't know who the winners and losers are going to be because it's very early in this game. It's very similar to the beginning of kind of the internet story. And then you've obviously got a lot of geopolitical issues that you can't ignore either. DC is a little bit unstable. And so you've got a lot of things kind of we use the term ingredients in the soup.
The U.S. government shutdown entered its 8th day. A congressional stalemate appeared to suggest market participants will lack official economic indicators for the immediate future and will have little to go on until third quarter earnings season kicks off next week. Minutes from the Federal Reserve's policy meeting last month showed most participants indicated it likely would be appropriate to keep cutting interest rates over the remainder of the year, though the timing and pace of further moves remained an open question. Stocks on the move included Dell, which jumped 9% to a 52-week high after several brokerages raised their price targets. And Best Buy gained 2% after broker Jefferies raised its price target on the stock.
The U.S. is pumping more oil than ever, just as global prices face a serious test. The EIA now expects U.S. oil output to climb even higher this year, despite growing warnings of a global supply glut that could hammer prices. At the same time, OPEC Plus is treading carefully, announcing only a modest output hike for November. Cracks are starting to show in the alliance, and even oil bulls are getting jittery. So are oil prices about to lose their floor? Naveen Das is a senior oil analyst at Kepler. So Naveen, OPEC Plus went with the smallest production hike on the table. Are we finally seeing oversupply fears creeping into the cartel's thinking?
That's maybe a little bit far-fetched for now. I think we're still in an environment where, as you mentioned, there are fears of a global glut, and nonetheless, they have increased their supply. Still a strong signal they've been sending. Internal discussions showed that they weren't even debating the more accelerated outputs that some of the media reports before the meeting suggested. I think they are still taking a very measured approach. They're looking at how supply and demand and the live data every month sort of presents itself before taking the next decision.
Well, Saudi Arabia appears determined to claw back lost market share. How far could that push OPEC Plus ambition, even at the risk of crashing prices?
So it is a balance of, clawing back market share, but also making sure that the other members within the group are comfortable with how the price progresses in the path to reducing spare capacity. Overall, I believe Saudi Arabia won't act unilaterally. The group as a whole wants to bring down spare capacity to close to 2.5 to 3% of global oil demand, close to where it was in the early 2000s as well. So that leaves us at about 2.5 to 3 million barrels a day of spare capacity, say. So on the path towards that, we are seeing this gradual unwind, and that will naturally lead itself to greater market share for Saudi Arabia.
Russia, meanwhile, pushed for a price defense strategy. Is that a sign that they're nearing production limits under the weight of sanctions?
It's a combination of the sanctions biting on the costs of investment and maintaining their upstream, but also the attacks from the Ukrainian drones, not only on the downstream refining sector, but also plugging out some of the port facilities as well. So effectively trying to shut in Russian supply. I think moving into the winter months as well, these costs for maintenance will become even more prohibitive. So something to look out for. Again, price will help support the Russian economy and the ability to invest and maintain upstream. But we do think, as a whole, their upstream capacities have been hobbled because of sanctions and the Ukrainian drone strikes.
Let's look at China, though. It's bought over 150 million barrels more than it's consumed this year. What's driving that stockpiling, and could it suddenly stop?
Maybe a move to move away from US treasuries to diversify their assets, whilst also looking at the longer term. As mentioned previously, OPEC's aim seems to be to reduce spare capacity going into 2026. We also then see maybe natural field declines from non-OPEC oil producers. So coming into a world where there is lower spare capacity and the potential for a price floor as a result of that, China stockpiling oil potentially gives them a better lever and a better handle on the demand side to play with prices, I suppose, we get into that longer term, maybe second half of 2026 horizon. So multifaceted reasons for the China stockpiling, but potentially with a longer term aim there as well.
Meanwhile, back in the US, drilling activity slid through Q3. Is President Trump's drill baby drill mantra a lost cause?
So for now, US supplies remain robust. I believe the drill baby drill mantra will continue, especially with the gains in offshore oil production. But looking at the cost basis for some of the producers will be key to see how oil production progresses into next year.
So finally, Naveen, the EIA sees WTI averaging at $65 this year, but the White House is aiming for $40. Where do you see prices landing?
I think the two key factors here, as mentioned previously, are what happens with Russian supply and what happens with the nature of Chinese buying. Chinese buying, has the stockpiling is sort of stopped in September, but as we mentioned, there's an expectation for it to continue. So these are the two main catalysts that will dictate price, we believe. But these are very difficult factors with a lot of uncertainty around. I think what's really baked into this has been a lot of trader fatigue around the uncertainty and volatility of this year. So technical trading ranges, statistical bands have also been very, very crucial. And as a result, flat prices stayed in a narrow band. So combining all these factors is why Kepler still sees WTI prices nearing the $60 level and hovering around there for the remainder of the year.
That was Naveen Das from Kepler. Don't forget, you can watch more videos on Reuters.com.
Well, a frost advisory remains in effect until 9 a.m. this morning, but we also have a frost advisory from 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. Friday. So a lot going on there. Sunshine today, temperatures in the upper 50s, clear skies tonight with lows in the upper 30s. Friday, sunshine, mid-60s. Saturday, partly cloudy, mid-60s. Sunday, rain, low 60s. Monday, mostly cloudy with temperatures in the low 60s. That is a look at your weather forecast at 7:53. This is the Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Kind of the live shot this morning.
Wow.
I don't think it's as bad as what it's showing. I think it's... I think the lens is
that what we're going with today?
Fogged up a bit. Yeah. I think. But coming into work this morning, it was kind of foggy, so be careful.
Yeah.
At least I realized that after I heard a bunch of screams because some people were out walking. And
listen, we encounter this. The only people I usually encounter in the morning are your morning joggers, and there's a great group of women who run through, and I would never hit them.
I know. They're on the road. You're usually on the sidewalk.
I'm on the sidewalk.
No,
Trying to share.
Hey, speaking
share
of
space.
being out,
Mm-hmm.
You were out yesterday.
I was.
What happened?
So I can speak to this because we live in Titusville. Every community, though, has a great group of people that do such a great job at making sure that money's allocated in the right places or things are improved as they need to be. And I think you should look into that in your community and thank those people who do that. I got to be part of a dedication yesterday for our tennis courts. They've gotten a lot busier lately, and it's a shared space. I believe it's city property, but the school district uses it for their tennis team, and the community uses it for fun. And so it was spearheaded by Titusville Area School District to get those resurfaced, redone, like a windscreen added to protect it from weather. And it really does take a community sometimes to get these things done because the funds aren't always available with one entity or organization. So I got to be part of this program with some great business owners, some great organizations that donated to this. Yeah. And a huge thank you to all of them because you can speak to the fact that our tennis team has grown. Mm-hmm. And we saw a record number since you were younger.
Mm. Yeah, we had a lot when I played tennis.
Yeah, you did. And it has been, it's hard because you're, splitting between softball, baseball, track, tennis, you're splitting the same talent. So the tennis team has grown and definitely needed the courts redone. So some fantastic businesses. Thank you very much for donating
awesome.
to that. Yeah, it was great.
Did you ever think to be part of something like that? Oh, it's tennis.
No.
You knew I was a tennis player.
No, I did. No.
But
here's the thing. I am, and if you know me at all, anybody knows me at all, sports are very important regardless of what the sport is. And yes, cheerleading is a sport. That was that's very difficult to do some of the things that they do. So to a degree, I would say, because some people are like, oh, this isn't a sport, or this isn't a sport. Every sport is a sport, and it takes a team to make it happen. And teamwork is incredibly important throughout your life, to have to learn to deal with other people and rely on other people. It's a life, whether you're good at the sport that you're playing or not, it's a life experience for you to learn and develop as an individual to be able to work with other people. So it's very important to me. So I would rather I love giving my money to youth sports and things that help an entire group instead of just,
I zoned out there. I didn't. What did you say? Well, you can tell me later.
Anyways.
No. So the tennis courts were resurfaced.
They are.
Okay.
They are.
And no pickleball, right?
No, pickleball's a whole nother
I
group,
know, but
and they have a court.
I make fun of these people. They're great. I'm glad they're
That's
out
a
playing.
sport,
I
too.
know, and I'm so happy that
Holy cow.
they're exercising and having fun doing it.
Yeah, it's all of these things are very inclusive and very good for your community and your youth and your adults.
I'm still waiting for Bill Allen to join a pickleball team, and then
The two of you. The two of you.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it.
They've tried to see what they did was they try to go after like the tennis players. So they'd be like, Luke, you're a tennis player. Why don't you? I'm like, no, I'm going to play tennis. I'm not going to play pickleball. I joke with these folks. They're crazy people. They're passionate people.
They're good. They're very
no,
good.
it looks
at
like
what
they're
they do.
having a blast.
Yeah. And it's funny because you'll see them. There's a lot of injuries in pickleball. I'd be a little bit nervous. Like they are
'cause they
hard.
take it. Yes.
They're hardcore athletes. So yeah.
Yeah, I joke about it, but
Yeah, because you can't keep up.
Oh.
Fighting words.
That hurt. Yeah. Holy cow.
No, that starts at 8:00.
Wow. Okay.
Nope.
Next hour, Mr. Bill Allen's going to be joining us. Save me from this conversation. No, I'm just joking. Also, Angela Morton will be with us as well. So that's the third hour. I keep thinking, like, is it really Thursday? It doesn't quite feel like it yet. But we are getting close to the weekend. And I'm losing track. Week 8 of high school football tomorrow night.
Holy cow.
Yeah, some might start tonight. There might be a game or two tonight. There's been some Thursdays. So I know, like, we have a game tomorrow night, but then the following week, it's a Thursday night. So, yeah, but week 8 already.
That's crazy.
It is.
Yikes.
All right, headlines coming up. Great local programming, as always, on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Get you through this Thursday. Here in Northwest PA, you got sunshine and, well, areas of frost.
Rain.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. More on Sunday than Saturday.
Which workers get back pay and which workers do not?
Well, we're going to see most of them are going to get back pay, and we're going to try and make sure of that. But some of them are being hurt very badly by the Democrats, and they therefore won't qualify.
You encourage Congress to pass a standalone bill to pay our service members.
Yeah, that probably will happen. We don't have to worry about it yet. That's a long time. You know what 1 week is for me? An eternity. 1 week for me is a long time. We'll take care of it. Our military is always going to be taken care of.
Interstate Pipe and Supply takes pride in providing superior customer service. That's why our dedicated employees are well trained and have the experience to offer friendly, quick, and reliable service and support. Need materials delivered to your job site? No problem. Interstate offers fast delivery from our 4 locations in Western Pennsylvania. We also serve Eastern Ohio, Northern Western Virginia, and Western New York. Service means business at Western Pennsylvania's premier pipe and supply company, Interstate Pipe and Supply.
Anyone with a kind and generous heart and a little money can be a philanthropist. You too can be a force for good in our community, and the Crawford Heritage Community Foundation is here to help you make the most of your charitable giving. We've partnered with hundreds of people like you to make our world and our community a better place. You can give through us to support scholarships or any charitable organization or purpose. Whether you're interested in establishing a permanent endowment or adding to an existing fund, we want to be a part of your plan. Contact us when you're ready to make your mark. Together, we can make your contribution go further.
The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home has been serving the needs of Titusville and surrounding communities since 1965. Mr. Garrett believed in tradition and commitment to excellence, standards that have been passed down from one generation to now a new generation, who will work to provide you with a beautiful, lasting tribute to your loved one. When you need them, they will be there for you. This has been their foundation for almost 60 years. The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home, 303 North Washington Street in Titusville. Share the fun of train travel and relive our country's oil history as you ride the OC&T through the valley that changed the world. Learn about the past while traveling on vintage cars. See a variety of wildlife with stops at Drakewell Park, Petroleum Center, and Oil Creek State Park. Arrive early and see the vast collection of train and railroad memorabilia at Perry Street Station. After the ride, enjoy a night's stay at the Caboose Motel. For seasonal specials or for more information, visit octrr.org or call 814-676-1733. For over 30 years, J. Gill Plumbing and Heating has taken pride in being the premier heating and air conditioning service provider in the area. Our highly skilled and certified technicians will work closely with you to address your heating and air conditioning repair, installation, or maintenance needs. And with the J. Gill Service membership, you can take advantage of additional benefits like filter replacements and priority service scheduling. Plus, members get 10% off future projects. Call today to get a free estimate or ask about financing options. Call J. Gill Plumbing and Heating today or visit them online at jgillplumbingheating.com. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding is located at 305 East Spring Street in Titusville. Marsh Home Center welcomes you in to explore their growing inventory of name brand furniture, appliances, and bedding. Need something not currently in stock? No problem. Order from Marsh's online catalog and have it delivered right to your door. Visit Marsh's to see their entire showroom. Ask questions, see what items are on sale, or just stop in and say hi. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding, behind Giant Eagle in Titusville.
211 is a simple telephone number to remember when you don't know where to go for help. Dial 211 when needing to find health and human services for everyday needs and in crisis situations. It's free and confidential, and you'll have access to thousands of programs and services for emergency and non-emergency situations. Visit pa211nw.org to learn more and remember, help is available by calling 211.
Are you tired of juggling multiple pill bottles? Titusville Express Pharmacy has your solution, now offering compliance packaging. Your medication sorted and sealed by dose, making it easier than ever to stay on track. In a hurry? Take advantage of our convenient drive-through service. We also offer free local delivery for those that qualify. Titusville Express Pharmacy, where convenience meets care. Visit us today at 401 West Spring Street in Titusville. Simplify your medication routine with Titusville Express Pharmacy.
Technology shares boosted U.S. stocks Wednesday. The Dow finished flat while the S&P 500 rose 0.6%, and the Nasdaq added more than 1%. The S&P and Nasdaq notched new closing highs. Chip stocks and other artificial intelligence-related mega caps gave the markets a lift, as they have for most of 2025. Adam Coons, Chief Investment Officer with Winthrop Capital Management, says he thinks stocks have become expensive and investors need to be cautious.
The thing that's giving us unease is that, valuations are stretched. So there's one thing. You've got this AI story that kind of seems to be a little bit out of control, a little bit circular, and we really don't know who the winners and losers are going to be because it's very early in this game. It's very similar to the beginning of kind of the internet story. And then you've obviously got a lot of geopolitical issues that you can't ignore either. DC is a little bit unstable. And so you've got a lot of things kind of, you use the term ingredients in the soup.
The U.S. government shutdown entered its 8th day. A congressional stalemate appeared to suggest market participants will lack official economic indicators for the immediate future and will have little to go on until third quarter earnings season kicks off next week. Minutes from the Federal Reserve's policy meeting last month showed most participants indicated it likely would be appropriate to keep cutting interest rates over the remainder of the year, though the timing and pace of further moves remained an open question. Stocks on the move included Dell, which jumped 9% to a 52-week high after several brokerages raised their price targets. And Best Buy gained 2% after broker Jefferies raised its price target on the stock.
Well, quick look at that forecast. Frost advisory set to expire around 9 this morning, and then we got another one overnight tonight into Friday morning. Sunshine today, upper 50s. Clear skies tonight, lows in the mid-30s. That scares Bill Allen just a little bit, those mid-30s. Friday, sunshine and mid-60s. That is a look at your weather forecast at 8:08. This is the Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Joining us this morning is Mr. Bill Allen from Titusville Ford. Hi, Bill. How are you?
I'm good, Dress. How are you?
Good to see you this morning. Well, it's good to see anything through that fog, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, the fog in the valley and the clear skies and frost on the mountaintop. And it was chilly and frosty this morning.
Yeah, just the way you like it.
Well, it was refreshing. I didn't have to dodge raindrops. That was one thing.
That's true. So what aren't you dodging this time of year? It's a busy time.
It's a busy time. I mean, we've been busy with product and introduction of some new product coming. And, it's just that time of year where people are winding up all their late summer and fall activities and now preparing for the next quarter of old man winter. It's coming.
Well, this is that time of year where I know you say some of this stuff and people are like, oh yeah, I should probably make sure tires are good, blades are good, make sure oil change, all that stuff. But it really doesn't hit them until the snow falls, right?
That's right. We're all not everybody, but a lot of people are procrastinators that say, okay, I'll get it tomorrow. And as we were talking before we went on the air, as fast as this cycle goes, tomorrow's here before you get through today.
Yes.
And you never know what is going to change in your life to where when you plan to do it, something comes up and you won't be available at that time. So if you get proactive and get ready for it, then you ease into it much easier than if you're scrambling at the last minute with everybody else.
That's right.
And you're right. I mean, last month Ford had a promotion on tires, and great deals on tires today to prepare people for winter or prepare people for inspections or whatever. So now's the time to do that or plan it and make yourself an appointment, even if you're scheduling that appointment out 3 or 4 weeks, and know that at that point you can get it done.
That's great. And again, that's you going to the website, TitusvilleFord.com, or stopping in and visiting with you.
You can call us. You can go online and schedule an appointment. If you call and they're busy, they'll call you back and schedule your appointment. But it can be done, and then you know when you're going to be taken care of ahead of when the problem arises.
That's great. What point in the year do you start to get the scent of the next year's lineup?
Used to be this time of year. Now it's almost any time of the year, so to speak, because new models will be introduced, in August or September, clear up through the end of November into December before you see new product. Ford system now, the order guides and ordering process comes out 2 to 3 months before actual production date. So you can come in, sit down, price and build one, know what one would cost you based on the pricing, and then you order it, then you're wait for scheduling, and scheduling is a lot of times is 6 to 8 weeks behind when you order it. It's just that model year, but they trickle in. It's nothing like it was 20, 30 years ago where all the new products were introduced at one time, and within 2 weeks of each other you had some of each model line in a new product.
Okay. I think people enjoy just kind of seeing what's coming out, but also that means, great incentives, great deals on the current lineup.
Exactly. Now is, I guess, what we would call closeout months where, excuse me, we're wanting to deliver and sell last year's model or a current model, waiting for the new model to arrive. So they have some nice incentives there. And incentives are normally better on that leftover model or 25 model versus the 26 model that's coming in. And it's usually first or second quarter before you start to see the larger incentive on that 26 model.
Yeah, but a great time to get in and start looking. A couple things I was going to ask you about that. Again, people can stop in and sit down, talk with you, somebody there, walk the lot, test drive. These are all things that, especially if you're a first-time buyer, it's not like you just walk in and say, okay, I want that, and you kind of guess. You actually get a chance to experience it, drive it, test it.
Exactly. When you are looking, and if you aren't a particular model, particular brand person, and you've driven that same model and type for your lifetime, so to speak, and you want to compare from one to the other, I encourage people to come in, sit down, talk about the packages, talk about the equipment that you want or that you'd like to have, and then let's go out, we'll drive a model, see what you think of it. Maybe it's too big, maybe it's too small, maybe it's just right. And then if that one doesn't fit what you're looking at, let's look at an alternative. It's also a great time to compare a late model pre-owned to a brand new to see what you feel is a better value, money-wise or price-wise, and what your budget is attuned to. Because a lot of times people come in with hopes of buying new, and it's a little beyond their budget, so they walk back down to a year or two old pre-owned, or they come in and look at a 2 or 3 year old pre-owned, and they decide, well, for a little more money, I can have brand new, and we can make that work. And you can look at we're fortunate in that in most models we have a late model used and a new to compare to. So you can see the differences and see what changes have been made.
That's great.
And most times, unless they do a total refresh or a refresh inside or outside, a lot of the features remain constant from year to year to year. Once they update the model or refresh it, as we call it, then you'll pick up a lot of the newer things or some new things that the older didn't do. But it's the best way, and once you drive it and you get a feel for it, it allows you to make a better comparison to the other vehicle that the other type of vehicle you may be looking at, or other brand you may be looking at, so that you are more comfortable with the decision you're making. Because in my mind, the worst thing you can do is, yep, that'll work, and then you take it home, and 3 weeks later you decide this was an awful mistake. Then it becomes very difficult to fix that without spending a lot more money.
Yeah. Well, and we talked before, I think we saw a little bit of that, in 2008 when gas prices were up and everybody's like getting rid of their SUVs.
Exactly.
And then within a short period of time, they're like,
once gas settled back down and the price came back down to a realistic level that people could live with.
Well, but even then, people were still like, it doesn't matter what the price is. I need my room. I need my...
Now that's where we're at. Yes.
Yeah. Well, so the other part of that is it less people saying, okay, I'm holding off to see this tariff thing play out, when they're looking at it going, I haven't seen any changes, or there's not much of change?
Yeah, I think the tariff talk, from what I can see price-wise of vehicles and increases that we've seen, I've not seen huge jumps. When people were talking 25% and this and that.
Just not seeing it.
No, and I think anybody that truly thought that was going to happen was kind of misled in their mind that you can't take something that's $50,000 and all of a sudden now it's going to be $75,000. No market, I don't care what product you're selling, can handle that. And we've seen prices go up, we've seen some products increase, but not out of reach. And people find a way to make it work. And I think if we could limit some of the hype and media talk, or get people to read the whole product, the whole article rather than just the headline.
Yeah,
they would get a different picture and have a different and better understanding of what's really happening and going on. And I'm not saying things are cheap, and I'm not saying it's not expensive to live, but everything is trickled up, but not hugely. You go to the store and you buy your groceries. Groceries have gone up and everything's gone up, but it's all in smaller amounts. Now the sum of the total is more, but that's just life. I mean, that's gone on since day one. From now to 10 years to 20 years to 30 years later, nothing's the same price as it was 20 years ago. And I hear people all the time say, well, I didn't pay that for my house. No, you didn't, but you can't replace your house today for what you paid for it 30 years ago. And look at your wages today versus what they were 30 years ago and what it costs to live. And 30 years ago, people said, we don't have enough money. And today we say, we don't have enough money.
Well, that's why it is so important, I think, Bill, it's great to go online and get ideas and look around at your inventory. But they really need to come in and sit down and kind of say, all right, here's our budget, here's what we're thinking, here's our needs. Right. And you're going to work with them to kind of find...
To see if you can get there.
Yeah.
See if your thoughts are realistic, or if your thoughts aren't realistic in what you can do for what you can spend. And again, you can sit down and say, okay, this is what I want, or this is what I'd like to have. But maybe if you trim some features or you go to a different package, you may be able to obtain as much or more for the same kind of money. And that's where sitting down with a sales consultant, if they take their time and work you through it, helps you make a better decision to affect your life. And if they're happy, then we're probably happy. If they're not, then they come back, then we're not. You know what I mean?
Well, give us a snapshot. Northwest Pennsylvania. I know in the past, trucks are always big, but
pickup trucks, large and mid-size sport utilities, and of course now in Ford's world, the smaller sport utilities have been really strong because we don't make a sedan. In fact, we were having that conversation yesterday in the showroom. 5 years ago or 6 years ago, when we eliminated all of the sedans out of our lineup, people were driving those, and a lot of foreign competitors or import competitors, if you look at them, their sedan market has shrunk and their small sport utility market has taken off. If you just observe everything that's running up and down the street, it's amazing to me that now everybody's driving a small, mostly all-wheel drive in this area, sport utility or a four-wheel drive sport utility.
Yeah.
And pickups have always been popular and will continue to be popular. just based on their versatility and people's lifestyle and what they want to do, and how hard the manufacturers have worked to kind of meet the customer's demands of, we want more comfort, we want more luxury, we want more ease of use, we want better fuel mileage. I mean, you talk about '08 and the fuel mileage, the gas prices and whatnot. Now we've gotten the big sport utilities, mid-size, and the trucks to where the fuel mileage is good or better than it was on some of the mid-size sedans back in '08, '07, '08. So as a company, they've all worked hard to get that mileage up, to get you better fuel mileage and still give you the versatility that somebody wants in their lifestyle.
Let's do this real quick. You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Mr. Bill Allen joining us here this morning, Titusville Ford, and just talking about the inventory that's available. We'll continue talking new real quick, and then we'll get into what is on the pre-owned side, because there's quite a selection there as well.
There is.
And as you were mentioning, it's nice when somebody comes in to be able to say, here's what we have in new, here's what we have in pre-owned. You can take a look at both. And
Exactly, and compare whether it's, and we try very hard to have an array of pre-owned available in different price ranges to fit people's budgets and needs, where may not be their primary vehicle, might be a second vehicle, might be a third vehicle, depending upon how many drivers and lifestyle in this area, because and I know in rural America, we travel to do a lot of different things, and nothing happens continually in our hometown. We're even 20 miles away or 30 miles away, doesn't seem far, but if we're going in two different directions, it's hard to keep up.
Isn't it amazing? Like, you go to a large area and it takes 20 minutes to go 2 miles, but yet
we go 20 miles in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's
yeah, no, it
but
is.
People live. I joke, but I mean, they're working out of their vehicles. Their lives are out of their vehicles. Running kids everywhere, or going to work, or doing whatever they're doing, and it really, sometimes you spend more time in your car than you do at home, I think.
You're absolutely right. I mean, even if you're a parent whose children have left the nest, started their own nest, and now you've got grandkids and kids involved in things, so now you're chasing that. And I hear people all the time say, well, Monday night we have this, and Tuesday night we have this, and this is going on Thursday, and then Friday, and then all of a sudden we're to the weekend, and we're trying to get caught up with our own stuff and do things we want to do, and and they roll around, as we were talking before. We're 6 or 7 weeks into the school year, and it's like, it seems like it started yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's just the way our whole cycle goes. When you look at it, and you look at time and how much time we spend there, and how much time do we have available to get things done that we need to get done, whether it's take care of things or maintain things or do other things in our life we want to. That's one of the nice things about, in Ford's world now, we've created a pickup and delivery system where we'll pick the car up, service it, and bring it back to you.
Oh, wow.
So, and it's a no-charge item that doesn't cost you anything, to try and make people's lives easier. So that's another benefit of scheduling an appointment ahead of time, make sure that they have the time and can pick it up and deliver it when you need it, to try and make it easy for you or the customer in their lifestyle. And it's really gotten popular and caught on well.
But again, that's one of those, call and schedule that appointment so that it's worked out.
Right. I mean, it's pretty tough. I won't say that it can't happen, but it's kind of hard to call at 8 and say, can you pick it up at 9 today? Because everybody, if someone's scheduled ahead of time now, a person can only be one place at a time.
That's right.
But the service is available, and people need to take advantage of it and ask about it.
Well, going back real quick, new inventory, quite a lineup of trucks. Broncos are popular. Beautiful vapor blue metallic Explorer.
Yeah.
That looks really sharp.
Yeah, we have a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, we have several Explorers, Bronco Sports, Escapes, Rangers, Mavericks, F-Series pickups, both in 150s and 250s. and 350s. So we've got a nice selection of vehicles, and we've got a good selection coming. We've been pretty blessed that they've given us a lot of inventory so that we have different colors and different models of choices, and more coming. So it makes it nice that we can. We've got a couple expeditions on order. We fortunately or unfortunately have sold out of the full-size Bronco, but have new models of those coming here very shortly.
So, and again, people can come in and talk to you and get on a list to say, hey, I want to, as soon as you get one, let me, okay.
Or we can today, the industry in a lot of ways is back to pre-pandemic. So now if you come in and we don't have a particular vehicle, we certainly can try and locate one with the features and benefits you want and the color you want, if we don't have one like that or don't have one coming. And it's become easier to trade with dealers to get what you need, because we may have what they want, so it can work back and forth.
Good example of the needs part of things. I've talked to people that say, I absolutely love my Ford Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got people that say, boy, the Maverick is perfect for me.
Right.
Again, when you're coming in, you think, okay, Ranger, Maverick is, what are your needs? What are you looking to do?
Exactly. Because each one of those has a different niche that it fits. And what is your goal, and what is your budget? What is your end result you're trying to achieve? And the nice thing by coming in, you can look at all three side by each and see the difference in size, the difference in features, the difference in room, and then drive all three and see which one you like better. That's the key to it. And we're fortunate because on the pre-owned side, we have Explorers, we have Escapes, we have some Mavericks, we have a used Ranger, we've got used half-tons. So we're pretty good that way in being able to match up a pre-owned to a new, so you could look at each and see which am I better off. And a lot of our pre-owns in the 23 and 24 models, even some 22s, the mileage is low. So you get the benefit of a low mile. And now we are certifying our used, so now you pick up an extra, a longer service plan at the end, and it goes through a different check than a used car check. So it's a benefit to the customer, providing them even more information on how good the car is or the truck is.
That's great. And then again, time, but you look at those kids that are graduating from college in, December,
right?
Or, they're getting ready to think about getting out there in the world. You've got some great pre-owned vehicles that are priced like perfect.
Right. And they could be doing an internship, or they could be doing whatever and need transportation to get from school to wherever their job is. So, and when you find that vehicle, people need to take advantage of that, because some of them are very nice and they may be difficult to replace down the road.
Yeah, that's great. Just go to TitusvilleFord.com to get the latest there. Bill, it is great seeing you.
One other quick thing.
Yeah.
Last year in the fall, we did a ride and drive at the school. Took new product down. People came down and drove it. We're doing the same thing again in November. I'd say watch our website, watch social media. It'll be posted when that is. But the benefit of that is there's no pressure to buy anything. You drive the models that are there. If you're interested, make an appointment or talk to whoever's there, and they'll answer questions. They're not there to sell you something. And for each drive, the school gets money. And then the school can use that for whatever project they want to use it for. I know last year, all the money they raised, they used toward the prom. I'm not sure what their end use is going to be this year, but you're supporting the high school by doing that, or the school system.
Yeah.
And it gives you a chance to do that maybe on a Saturday when you're not doing anything else and there's no pressure.
Yeah, that's great.
We're there to show you the product. We're there to raise money for the school. We'd obviously like to sell something, but that's not our first goal, is to take you aside and work you over to buy something. We want you to look at the product, drive the product, see what we have to offer, see what we do in the community, and help the community itself.
Absolutely. Or if you just want to check out new products.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because there'll be, last year I think we had 4 or 5 different models there to drive.
Okay. And that'll be coming up sometime in November.
Sometime in November. I'm assuming that it's going to be sometime around the middle of November.
Okay.
I know it'll definitely be before Thanksgiving.
Great. On that note, Bill, good to see you.
Good to see you.
All the best to you.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Talk to you.
New Directions Community Credit Union is now open in Titusville. They may be new to our community, but they've been serving our region since 1974, providing their members with affordable products and services. Membership is open to anyone who lives, works, worships, volunteers, attends school, regularly conducts business, or who owns a business in Venango, Forest, Warren, or Crawford counties. Visit their new location at 206 South Martin Street in Titusville to learn more about becoming a member. Best of luck to all the students and athletes this fall from New Directions Community Credit Union.
Looking for expert orthopedic care? Dr. Charlie Gates, a trusted name at Titusville Area Hospital, can help you regain mobility and a better quality of life. With years of experience and a passion for personalized care, Dr. Gates specializes in treating a wide range of orthopedic conditions. Whether it's joint pain, sports injuries, or orthopedic surgery, trust Dr. Charlie Gates at Titusville Area Hospital for your orthopedic care. Call 814-827-9770 today to schedule your appointment.
Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning provides residential and light commercial air conditioning services throughout the area. They understand the importance of your cooling system working properly. That is why you can trust in Vanderhoof to do the job right. Whether it's a non-working air conditioner, yearly maintenance, or a new install, you can be assured that we will solve your problem quickly and efficiently. Your home's air conditioning system is far more than just temperature. It's a complete comfort system that combines temperature, humidity, air quality, and above all, safety. Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning in Titusville. Titusville Market Square is home to over 100 unique vendors featuring antiques, collectibles, candles, coins, baked goods, dairy products, food items, comic books, toys, and so much more. You'll discover something new every time you walk through the door. Did we mention the selection of baked goods, breads, Clark's Donuts, and Amish pies? Titusville Market Square has you covered. Stop in to explore today. Titusville Market Square in downtown Titusville.
Our new home.
Somebody pinched me.
Somebody say pinch? Pinch, pinch. We mean we just bought this.
Yeah, we just bought a new house. Why are there crabs?
Don't call for pinches. Call for protection.
Hit it.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Your State Farm agent is ready to help you choose the right coverage for your new house and your car.
All right, which way to the sea?
We're in Ohio.
So is that close or
No.
You got a pool?
No.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm Ronnie Long.
And I'm Lisa Mellon.
The name Armstrong reflects more than just a company. It's a promise.
While others focus on the short term, we're building for a future that's limitless.
From the dawn of cable television to the rise of the digital age, we've delivered cutting-edge technology like our advanced fiber network that redefines what's possible.
Guided by our core values, we have proudly served and strengthened communities like yours for generations.
Fat Chad's is Titusville's premier dining destination. Come hungry and enjoy these menu favorites: T-bone steak, homemade meatloaf dinner, or soft shell crab tacos. Dive into fresh pasta entrees like shrimp and scallop pasta, or our signature Asiago chicken. And don't miss our famous burgers and fish sandwiches, all served with fresh cut fries. Fridays mean prime rib specials. Enjoy wild game Saturdays. And on Sundays, it's our all-you-can-eat wing buffet. For good food and good times, it's Fat Chad's Brewing in Titusville.
211 is an easy-to-remember telephone number for finding health and human services for everyday needs and in crisis situations. Every day, highly trained 211 call specialists provide referrals to basic human needs resources like food banks and shelters, physical and mental health, employment support, support for youth and child care programs, and support for adults and persons with disabilities. To learn more, dial 211 or visit pa211nw.org.
Technology shares boosted U.S. stocks Wednesday. The Dow finished flat while the S&P 500 rose 0.6%, and the Nasdaq added more than 1%. The S&P and Nasdaq notched new closing highs. Chip stocks and other artificial intelligence-related mega caps gave the markets a lift, as they have for most of 2025. Adam Coons, Chief Investment Officer with Winthrop Capital Management, says he thinks stocks have become expensive and investors need to be cautious.
The thing that's giving us unease is that, valuations are stretched. So there's one thing. You've got this AI story that kind of seems to be a little bit out of control, a little bit circular, and we really don't know who the winners and losers are going to be because it's very early in this game. It's very similar to the beginning of kind of the internet story. And then you've obviously got a lot of geopolitical issues that you can't ignore either. DC is a little bit unstable. And so you've got a lot of things kind of, you use the term ingredients in the soup.
The U.S. government shutdown entered its 8th day. A congressional stalemate appeared to suggest market participants will lack official economic indicators for the immediate future and will have little to go on until third quarter earnings season kicks off next week. Minutes from the Federal Reserve's policy meeting last month showed most participants indicated it likely would be appropriate to keep cutting interest rates over the remainder of the year, though the timing and pace of further moves remained an open question. Stocks on the move included Dell, which jumped 9% to a 52-week high after several brokerages raised their price targets. And Best Buy gained 2% after broker Jefferies raised its price target on the stock.
Well, still foggy out there here in northwest Pennsylvania as we take a look at that weather forecast. Should be burning off here. And tomorrow, fog and frost returns about 2 a.m. till about 9 or 10 a.m. Tomorrow morning. Sunshine today, upper 50s for a high. Clear skies tonight, lows in the mid-30s. Friday, sunshine, mid-60s. Saturday, partly cloudy, mid-60s. Sunday, rain, low 60s. Monday, mostly cloudy with temperatures in the low 60s. That is a look at your weather forecast at 8:38. This is the Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Angela Morton hosts Recovery Is on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. It's one of the many things she does, and she joins us here this morning. Hi, Angela. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you, Luke?
Good
Thanks
to see you
for having me, as always.
Nice drive over this morning. Nice and sunny, and no, not even close.
Well, yes. Coming from Meadville, it was really bright, like sunglasses, visor, everything, because it was really bright. And then it was really great to watch the fog. It looked like everything was smoking. People's mailboxes looked steamy, adjusting to the hot, cold, freezing, sunny. Beautiful drive, though.
You got it
nice
all
fall
today.
drive, yeah.
Perfect. A lot to talk about here this morning. And, you talk about the weather and what we're coming into with the winter months. And, people are maybe hunkered down a little bit, or they're indoors, or they're not near people, or, it's that time of year to think about the holidays and maybe some depression that could sneak in and some other things. And what does that do for some of the things we're going to be talking about?
It's legitimate that the seasons, especially in places like ours where we maybe aren't getting as much sun and it gets really cold, that seasonal mood changes it's a clinical diagnosis.
Yeah.
Some people know that and are prone to that. Others just get isolated, like you said, and maybe don't have as much activity, and they're not around people, not getting out and getting fresh air and exercise. So there can definitely be mood changes and, anticipation of holidays and maybe missing people who've gone before us. And those are things that can contribute to the work that I do around substance use awareness.
Yeah. We talk a lot about prevention, but maybe another aspect to it, the mental health side of things. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think you and I have talked a lot about prevention, and I've shared that there are like protective factors against substance use, that it's science, that they can poll people and work with people across generations and find that there are some commonalities among people who succumb to substance use, even dependency, versus those who maybe used refusal skills or had the coping skills to not use or to stop using. And there are risk factors and protective factors. So prevention begins early in childhood when kids are learning to make decisions and building their coping skills, and parents are teaching kids about their own emotions and mental health. So we can all pay better attention to our mental health and any trauma we've experienced and mitigate the incidence of substance use by addressing all of those kind of things, risk factors and protective factors.
I have no idea if this has anything to do with what you're talking about, but is there a downside to this technology that we have today where everything's videotaped, everything's monitored? Kids, the leash for a kid to go out and do something, is so short today compared to when we were growing up, where, a kid would do something, it's like, hey, don't do that again. You're in trouble, but it's not the end of the world. Versus now where, you got to charge somebody, there's all this other stuff that comes with it. It just seems like we're not letting, like, everybody's so afraid to let somebody fail anymore, instead of saying, failing's okay, but, and there are people, it's part of learning. Does any of that play a role in some of the mental health? And again, I know there's the cyberbullying and that kind of stuff that can lead to other things, which, again, I couldn't even imagine going through that growing up. But how much of that plays a role in just not having an outlet for somebody? So this is what they're looking at. They're going, well, maybe this is the direction I'm going to go.
Well, I think I've talked to you personally before about how there are now law firms, not just class action suits like somebody's filing, but actual law firms for the damages that happen to youth around social media. So we didn't have to grow up. You might see somebody and their girlfriend or boyfriend, everybody looks happy and you're feeling sad, but it wasn't in your face morning, noon, night, 24 hours a day on Snapchat and TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, Pinterest, wherever people are hanging out. And as you said, the leash is short for getting out and doing things, where we didn't have any choice but to be outside, drinking out of the hose, so to speak, that people are like, why'd you drink out of a hose? Because it was the only water around. We were playing outside all day. Yeah. And so we weren't carrying our water bottles to school with us. We were drinking out of the fountain after gym class, and that was it. So it was a very different life where you had to call a friend or go visit a friend or drive your bike to a friend's and knock on a door and be with people. I mean, even in terms of meeting someone and starting a relationship for young people today, it's very different than having a face-to-face conversation. The vulnerability of it, the personal intimacy of it is so different than shooting a text and waiting for somebody to text back or snap back and forth with people instead of real human interaction. So imagine kids are, you've asked the question, so don't have to imagine that they're watching all of that. They're watching the world go on, and their world is also in a fishbowl. So these law firms exist because there's so much damage from kids having that in their head all day long that everybody looks so happy and I'm not. Or people seem to have something I don't. Or the opposite end, where you can buy drugs on Snapchat and people are dying from overdose. Kids are dying by suicide. And the rates of suicide have increased around social media use, substance use, charges for activity even unsolicited online, and then people have a criminal record for something that happened online or something that was seen. Countless stories of ways that kids are impacted, youth are impacted. So might they be more prone to, when somebody offers them something, to succumb to saying, sure, I'm having a case of, I don't care, I'm mad at the world anyway, so sure, give me the pill, I'll try it. Or give me, whatever substance. And so, yes, I think I don't have stats in front of me, but we know that there are legitimate lawsuits around kids and the damage that is happening online, and then not being able to cope with it because we don't have the same human intimacy and interaction.
I mean, I realize we all had sort of that, as you said, that fishbowl, feeling, right? But it just seems it's more intense today, where if somebody breaks up with somebody, and I've gone through this with my boys, it's like, the world's a big place. You're going to be going out and meeting people. It's going to be fine. But it's not understanding that because everything is right, is right here.
Right.
So
it's like being under the paparazzi all the time, really,
Yes.
especially in a rural area where everybody knows everybody. If you go through a bad breakup, the world knows about it. If you are charged with something, the world knows about it. Even if that charge doesn't go through, there's still talk about it. There's just so much that if somebody goes to rehab, somebody has, a mental health stay at a hospital or a suicide attempt or loses somebody by suicide or overdose, everybody knows everything. So there's really not an opportunity for people to kind of settle in and deal with their own feelings and grieve and process. So asking kids to cope or to be brave enough to say to your parents or your teachers or your pastor, youth group leader, doctor, that I don't think I'm supposed to be feeling this way. It looks like everybody else is happier. And for that not to be brushed off, to say, well, tell me some of the feelings or the thoughts that you're having, and not be afraid to ask directly about suicide. Not like, are you thinking of hurting yourself? Because a lot of times when someone has disclosed that they were thinking about suicide or had a suicide attempt, they didn't want to hurt. They wanted the pain to go away. So you have to ask directly, have you had thoughts of killing yourself? If that was not on their radar, you're not going to give them the idea. It's much better to ask directly. And for doctors to not be afraid to ask, parents to not be afraid to ask, nurses, clergy, family, friends, that asking directly, is there anything you're struggling with? You can talk to me about anything. There's nothing in the world you could tell me that would make me love you any differently. Those kind of things go a long way, and you can see a kid relax and maybe share something that they have been afraid to share.
we just had Ron Arnold on, and he was echoing a lot of that in terms of conversation with suicide prevention. But yeah, it's really a lot of parallels there, aren't there? So when it comes to, and again, maybe we start with youth, and then let's work our way through the demographics for that help. Again, along the lines of the prevention part of it, the mental health side of it. Is somebody going to come out? Do you find there are demographics that will come out and say, yes, I'm struggling with this, if they're directly asked, or is it still they don't want that stigma, so they're not necessarily saying when directly asked, yes, I thought this, or yes, I'm experimenting with this?
There's definitely some cultural tone to that. And when I say cultural, I mean widely. It could be rural culture, that we who grew up in rural areas, we think we're tough, and yes, we are in some ways, but we think we can handle things on our own. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps, deal with it. Nobody talks about this. As we know, we talk a lot about men's mental health because a lot of men have been socialized to not talk about their mental health or think that that's for women, or I don't believe in therapy. So men are much more open about that, and I like being able to witness that that's changing. Anybody else who's marginalized, people in the Q+, LGBTQ community, or people of color that are already feeling marginalized, may be less likely to say, here's this thing that I'm struggling with, or I already am dealing with stigma from this. Now I don't know how to talk about this. So I have a lot of people who will reach out to text me, or an email or a Facebook message to say, hey, I've been meaning to ask you, or I'm not sure who to talk to. I love that. It doesn't happen every day, but I love when people feel comfortable asking. And then I'm big on self-advocacy, for people to be able to look their doctor, nurse, partner in the eye and say, no joking, all seriousness, I'm really struggling. This isn't just me complaining. It isn't just my job kind of sucks lately. I'm really having a hard time. And I think I should talk to somebody about it, and then not being afraid to ask for help. So ages, I think depression doesn't discriminate. If kids are in a home where they're allowed to talk about feelings and encouraged, not just mention it one time, but encouraged, and then having it role modeled. If If we don't show that we can cry or that we can have a bad day or we can get angry and then apologize or find ways to soothe and calm ourselves and role model that, then kids don't know how to navigate those feelings either.
So give me maybe an idea for somebody that goes to somebody, and you kind of listed some people to go and talk to, right? If you're having these thoughts or feelings, and I go to somebody and I say I'm struggling with this, what are some indicators that maybe that person isn't the right person to talk to, that I should go to the next person? Because sometimes I feel like, you go to somebody and they might be thinking the same thing, like, well, boy, I'm stressed too, and I've got this and I got this and I got this. Just deal with it, type of a thing. And not that they don't care, but it's almost like, well, everybody's going through that, so just kind of figure it out.
Kind of invalidating it.
Yeah.
I think we all know that feeling, and I've shared things. You and I have had a lot of good conversation the last how many years we've been talking.
52.
Sure. That I've in some of the things that I've dealt with in my personal life, that there are people that you disclose carefully to, and then you read the vibe and go, well, we won't share all of it. And other people that are like, I'm so sorry that you and your family are going through that, or that you've had to experience that, and how can I support you? We all know the difference between that feeling where someone leans in and has a look of compassion in their eyes and kind words, or even an and a nod, versus the person that kind of goes, well, that's a lot. Or, yeah, I've been through that too, or I know people that have been through it. You know the feeling, and if you don't feel it's being well received, please don't stop there. So if I'm brave enough to say to my doctor, there are days I don't want to wake up, and he doesn't say anything at all, I'm going to maybe talk to my counselor or my pastor or my partner or somebody else. If I go to my pastor and say, I'm struggling with substance use, and they say, well, everybody smokes pot these days, it's fine, and kind of tries to normalize the social part of substance use and doesn't take you seriously, again, go to your doctor, go to your spouse, go to a trusted friend, call a hotline. 988 is the 911 of mental health. It's a suicide hotline, mental health hotline. And then the 800-662-HELP that I often end, our chats with, that's mental health and substance use. It's a national hotline that still exists, 1-800-662-HELP, and they'll ask you where you are in the nation, give your zip code, they'll give options. I think there's a text line, 741-741, that people can text, or 988 you can text, that there's always somewhere to turn. And it takes courage, but if you're not feeling it's well received, don't just stop there and dig your heels in and say, well, I tried. Keep trying, and honor yourself by not being afraid to stand up for yourself.
And again, it probably varies for everybody, the degree that they want that help, right? Where you're saying sometimes if you wake up and you're like, I didn't want to wake up today. Will those people be more open to trying, different places if they keep running into a wall, or are they saying, you know what, I tried once, that's enough?
Well, you just said some words that always stand out to me. Those people could be us.
I didn't mean that.
No, I know you didn't, because you always speak compassionately. I'm just using that opportunity to highlight that sometimes even care providers are like my patients or these people that I work with, instead of we're all just human,
right,
and we're supporting each other. And I, as much as I respect the hierarchy in some ways of our providers, I also think it's important for us to just say these things could happen to any of us. So if I wake up having a bad day, again, not being afraid to ask. And when you say want help, I think even when we want help, sometimes it has to get to a place where we're ready, willing, or feel that the options are available. And I always weave in the treatments available regardless of ability to pay, for whether it's substance use or mental health, that often, even without insurance or health benefits, you can call your county office and say, I'm having mental health issues or drug and alcohol issues. If you don't know what your issues are, you can call and say, I'm really struggling and I'm not even sure where to turn, but I heard that my county human services can help. And they will say, let me get you to the right person. They'll help screen and get you to the right person.
Okay. Let's do this real quick. You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Angela Morton with us here this morning. Another fast segment, Angela. Very
I know.
fast.
You're good.
No,
You ask all the right questions.
well, again, you mentioned phone numbers. You mentioned some places to start. We only have a couple minutes left. So, I mean, if you're waking up this morning and you're having these thoughts, or if you're going through the day and having these thoughts, what about turning to a friend initially? Somebody that maybe you've had good relationships with and will hear you out. And again, I know we've talked a lot about this. Ron and I were just talking about this. The ability for that person to listen. A lot of times you're just looking for somebody to listen to you, not criticize, not maybe
Fix.
just listen. Is that a starting point as well?
It is, and I could do, we host sessions on motivational interviewing, and although the name doesn't really explain what it is, it's a way of talking with each other that supports that process. We're not looking at your own agenda. You're not looking to fix a situation. You're just listening and supporting and kind of working with a person to find their own ambivalence and their own readiness for change. And we can all use that kind of just sit back and listen. I have to work on the fixing or the writing reflex, where as a mom, when I hear my son has a problem, sometimes I'm like, what are we going to do to fix it? Instead of just shut up and listen, let him be mad for a minute and let him feel whatever he has to feel and process. And we can all do that for each other. So it is a good place to start, to reach out, talk to a trusted friend, to feel out the waters. If it doesn't go well, talk to somebody else.
Well, that kind of goes back to that. It's okay to let kids fail because they learn from that. Part of that is, listening to them and, how are you going to, let them kind of walk through. How are you going to fix this? Or, what would you do about this situation?
If a toddler, a baby learning to walk, they're toddling along in their diaper and they fall on their, down onto their bottom, and we don't scoop them up right away. They have to learn to get on the floor and get themselves back up and walk. And I like that example because I've heard people say, like, I feel like I'm always rushing to help. How's your child going to learn to even stand up if you're always doing it for them? So we have to allow sometimes that uncomfortable stuff to happen so that they can learn and grow through it. And, I've said the same about recovery, that people, like, I had a recurrence of use or a, quote, relapse, and now I have to start over. It's all part of the learning process. You learn what got you to that point. You learned where that how you drifted into that space. And then you learn how to avoid it next time.
Yeah, or what caused you to drift away from it, too. So you can recognize that part of it. Before we wrap up, anything coming up that people should know about?
We do have some trainings on the recoveryiscommunity.org website. Click on the training link. They're free, open to the public, providers, free continuing education, lots of good sessions. And then on Friday, the 17th of October, and I have to put it up on the website today, but we have a community meeting. It'll be on our Facebook, our Instagram, our LinkedIn, and I'm going to put it on our website. But we have a community meeting at noon. Anybody can call or dial in and listen in. It's just a virtual meeting where we talk about the work we're doing to address substance use and mental health in the region. So.
All right. And if folks have questions, want more information, they want to maybe reach out and talk to you, how do they do that?
Well, that website's a good place too, recoveryiscommunity.org. If you scroll way to the bottom of that first page, my phone number and I think email are on that page. I'm willing to answer any questions, and help is available anytime at that 800 number as well.
Good to see you this morning.
You too. Thank you, Luke.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
All the best. Be careful going home.
I will.